retired after Sochi, I felt like it was expected of me. I was 35, you're done. And I've always struggled outside and always missed it and wanted to go back.
Welcome to the SnowsBest.com podcast, It Takes a Village series, where we chat with Aussie athletes on their road to the Milano-Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics and the village of people that helped get them there, from coaches to family members, judges, besties, officials, and more with your host, Miss Snow-It-All Rachel Oakes-Ash.
Who doesn't love a comeback on a world stage? Our podcast guest is a three-time Winter Olympian, 47-year-old mum of two, and returning from retirement to bid for a fourth Winter Olympics in skier cross. Welcome to the podcast, Jenny Lyons.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Where have you just flown in from? Because you got a bit of jet lag, right?
I do, yeah. I'm just fresh off the plane from Chile. So where it's the total opposite there. So technically I'd be sound asleep at the moment.
I guess it's like, I guess Italy is, I think Italy, I was talking about Italy this morning and the time difference. It's actually going to work out really well, I think, for Australians that want to watch the Winter Olympics.
Yes.
A lot better than...
Does.
Yeah, a lot better than Salt Lake City, which, of course, was your first
Yes.
Olympics back in 2002 as an alpine skier. Before we get into all of that, why the comeback now?
Well, because if not now, then it will be too late at some point.
Right.
Look, I was talking to Steve Lee at the Snow Awards, and I'd spoken to him a few times leading into that, and it was just that night that I was just like, you know what? You just don't know what's around the corner in life, and this opportunity I might get to a point where this opportunity is just not even realistic or possible. And I think there's a lot of people that think this is unrealistic now. I don't think it is, and I think I just proved myself in Chile a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I'm still at the age where I can be reasonably competitive. And I know at some point there is a time where that's going to stop, and I don't know what age that is, but it's not yet.
Okay. So were you missing being an athlete?
Yes. I mean, it's been my life. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that were your cons that come along with it that you bitch and moan about when you're in the thick of it. But when you're on the other side, you give anything to bitch and moan about those things again. When I retired after Sochi, I felt like it was expected of me. I was 35, you're done. Like, you're already old enough. You're already pushing the envelope on your age. Like, you're pretty much done. And, I did want to go away and get married and have kids too. So it's not like I was totally pushed out, but that was the assumption and feeling I got from people anyway. And I've always struggled outside and always missed it and wanted to go back. But financially, how would I have done that? So now's the opportunity.
How are you doing it financially now?
Well, I didn't win the lotto. I always said if I won the lotto, I'd chuck $1 million in and give myself the best team and do all sorts of crazy things. But no, I haven't won the lotto. We are trying to find funding through companies that sort of relate to our project with the documentary, that align with our sort of vision, and obviously companies that have sort of similar visions around what they're trying to accomplish as well. So that we're trying to get funding that way. Obviously there isn't any funding through the federations or anything because I have been retired for nearly 12 years.
I know. I think it's 14 years since you stood on a FIS World Cup podium.
Oh, yeah. When was my last podium?
I think it was in 2011. Yeah,
2011.
Yeah.
After Vancouver. Yeah. That was the last time.
Yeah, you got bronze. Yeah. And then in 2008, you got silver and bronze as well. And then you were fifth in the World Championships. You got an X Games in 2012, though. You got a bronze in X Games, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. It's
Yes.
a fair bit you've got to prove, isn't it? To get how do you get to qualify? Like you've just been to Chile and qualified for the FIS World Cup, haven't you?
Yeah, so now I had to go there and make points to race the World Cup. And now it was a bit of a risk going there. I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it. And it wasn't super expensive, but it was, it's a 10 grand chunk, 20 grand chunk out of my budget to use to get to the games. So it was a risk, but it ended up paying off. I made the points, which was amazing. And I think I shocked myself a bit. I went there confidently going, oh, yeah, I'll be fine. And then I watched the other girls are like, oh, yeah, I can beat her, beat her, beat her. And then I sort of timed myself against some of the girls in training and myself, and they were mostly all beating me through the start section. And I was like, all right, you need to pull your head in. You haven't competed in 12 years. You have no idea what your ability is anymore. You may have used to being able to beat these girls, but you have no clue on where you're at because it's been nearly 12 years. But I qualified in the seeding third, and I was sort of like, oh, okay. All right. Okay. So, and my strong ability is my technical ability, turning, jumps, and those types of things. At the moment, what's going to set me back is the start sections.
Right.
Going over the rolls and generating speed over those features is what I need to really focus on now.
And do you think you learnt that as a result of being in Chile, or had that not occurred to you before that was your weakness?
Yeah. So So the start, I didn't think that I would be so off on the timing of everything and just the memory of having to push down on features to get your feet back on the snow quick. It was all, and then having to add the poles in as well. It was just like
a lot, right? A lot.
Yeah, and I didn't have enough time to sort of break it down and just take it a bit slowly to figure it out, because I had one day of training. The next day was the official race training day, and then it was go, we're on, and it was sort of like
Welcome back to the world of competition.
Yeah. So I feel like with the 2 days I had on course training, like I did pretty well considering.
Oh, absolutely you did. So who's training you though? Who's coaching you?
Well, funny enough, I went to Japan on my own. I mean, Japan.
Right.
I went to China. Oh my God.
You've just come back from Chile.
And the Japanese coach agreed to help me out while I was there, because I've known him since Vancouver Sochi days. So he used to teach coach
awesome.
Japanese back then too. So
that's awesome. Did you have to pay him? Did you have to pay him?
Yeah, I helped with his expenses. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how will you?
It's cheaper to do it that way than to take my coach, which would have cost another 10 grand on top of. And I just was like, it's not worth it. It's too small a block, and I need the money for later.
Who's your coach here then?
So it's going. Well, I had Steve Graham, who has been around for a very long time. He helped me out here in Australia. He just had the time to help me here get back on my feet. But my coach over for the European season will be my old Alpine, another old Alpine coach, Rich Lepage. He's French Canadian, so Steve Graham sort of got me my first World Cup downhill points in Alpine, and Rich sort of continued that path through Salt Lake City, and after that, and sort of progressed me further. So they've both been I've worked quite well with both those coaches. Yeah.
Let's get back to what you were saying before, though, because when I first spoke to you, you mentioned something about perimenopause being a trigger point for you deciding to do this. Can you tell me about that?
I honestly didn't know I was in perimenopause for I don't even know how long, maybe 6 months, and it's maybe even close to a year. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I just got really grumpy for a while, and was using alcohol in the afternoon to just bring me back down, to manage the afternoon with the kids, to get them off to bed, and then just to keep me more grounded. I think it just took the edge off my
craziness.
You have less patience, and I was taking it out on the kids probably a bit, and my husband. He just wasn't allowed to breathe. And that sort of worked for a while until it didn't. And I was like, my husband was like, you just seem angry. And I'm like, I am.
I'm livid.
It hit me one day when I was working in the dog salon, and my sister went through perimenopause quite early, maybe late 30s. And the sleep thing, this night sweat, the aggroness, the sore joints, like so many things that I was like, a light bulb sort of went off, and I was like, ew.
So the night sweats didn't alert you to the fact you might be in perimenopause?
Well, no, because I was drinking. I thought that maybe it was just my body sweating it out. And it was only like I'd wake up drenched, but it was like one time. I'd wake up soaking wet, I'd get up, change everything, hop back into bed, and that was it. It wasn't like I had a hot and cold flush. It wasn't like, it was just, and it wasn't every night. It was probably more around sort of, your higher hormone phase coming into your period, sort of, and I have a marina in, so I have no clue whether I have a period or not anyway. So yeah, I just, and like, how do you even know what the age is and what you're looking for? Like, I wasn't
we don't,
across
do we?
any of this.
Because we don't talk about it a lot. I mean, there's obviously more discussion and conversation about it now. But I remember being super, super, super hot in New Zealand in Wanaka in like minus 30 degrees Celsius. I mean, it was never been that cold in Wanaka, but, it felt like that, right? And I'm staying in this house on the lake and I'm desperately opening all the windows and I'm trying to find the switch to turn off all the underfloor heating. And I wake up the next morning and I have a friend in the house, but she's in another wing of the house. It was a rather large house. And she walked out and I said, did you figure out how to turn off the underfloor heating? It was on full blast last night. She's like, Rachel, there is no underfloor heating in this house. I was like, oh, okay, gotcha. But still, we also try to deny it for a while.
I didn't deny it. I just found I didn't know.
Yeah.
I only heard about it through my sister, and she's in London, so I only hear dribs and drabs. And because it's not something I search for on social media or I've Googled or looked up, nothing popped up in my
algorithms
social media about perimenopause. So I technically had no clue about it at all. And it was only when I went to a GP and I'm like, I'm not sleeping. I just need some sleep. And, I'm so grumpy, that they were like, oh, let's do blood tests. Okay, that showed nothing. Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. Let's just try you on some estrogen and see what happens. And if you feel better, then it's working. And, I rubbed that stuff on and I tell you, they're like, well, it might take a week. And within 2 days, I was a changed person.
So is that a banned substance? Is that a banned substance at the Olympics? Hormone replacement therapy?
No. Hormone. So estrogen and progesterone are not banned, thank God, and they shouldn't be because it's not like you're it's not like testosterone where gives you an enhancement. Estrogen and progesterone are just what make your body turn around.
Just makes you feel better when you're actually living in absolute complete and utter hell. Yeah, totally. So did you think you had an alcohol problem?
I did. I did have an alcohol problem, but I didn't know. It all sort of started in COVID and, a lot of people's drinking problems. Yeah. But I was only having 2 a day. And it was only when I was doing this whole health assessment with the Peri that they were like, is it 2 at home or is it 2 out? And I was like, no, it's 2 at home. And they're like, well, have you actually measured it? And I was like, oh, no. It's probably quite too heavy-handed pause.
2 bottles.
I worked out I was having 5 to 6 standard drinks a day. And I was like, whoa, that's an alcoholic. And I've been doing that for a couple of years. And I went off it that night. I was like, oh, I'm out. And I went through withdrawals for 4 days. Wow. And I was just in shock with myself that I'd let it got to that point. The fact that I was going through withdrawals made me even stronger to stop. I allowed myself, because I know cold turkey can be very difficult. So I allowed myself to drink if I wasn't going to the gym. And I normally wouldn't go to the gym on a Friday and Saturday. On a Saturday and Sunday. So I would allow my drink on a Friday and a Saturday. And I just tried to keep it at 2 to 3 standards versus 5 to 6. And then I got to a point where I started to feel crap, and I went, you know what, I'm going to change this. This sounds really bad when I say it out loud. I changed to vodka because
it's clear and pure.
It's clearer. It's less shit in it. I'll have that. And funny enough, because I switched to vodka and I'd be making myself, limes and putting the ice in, I put the soda water in. So many times I forgot to put the vodka in and blame perimenopause. And I would go down and I'd drink my drink and I'd go back to the kitchen and there's the shot sitting there and I'd be like, oh, I didn't even. And I didn't feel like another one. So I was like, okay, I've just had a drink without any alcohol, and I felt like it was enough. And that happened a few times, and I got to the point where I just didn't need it anymore. And now I probably drink once a week, and I have one shot of vodka in lime and soda maybe two during the week. So 1 or 2 drinks now during the week. That is it. And I'm off it. I don't want to get back to that needing it, but I think COVID started it, and then the peri needing to take the edge off my mood swings got me in trouble. And again, if I knew about peri, I probably would have gone to the doctor sooner.
Right. So do you think that choosing to come back to the winter or come back onto the Winter Olympic circuit and aim for Milano-Cortina, which I keep calling Livigno because that's pretty much where all the Australian medal chances are going to be, and also where you're going to be. And that's horrible because the ice is also where we're potentially going to win medals as well. Hello, bobsled
and sliding, which is in Cortina.
And sliding, absolutely. Has this helped you, having this goal, has this helped you stay off the booze?
No, because I'd stopped a year. I'd started the process a year before this came about. Yeah.
Right. And when you say came about, was it you just woke up one day and went, right, that's it, I'm going to be an athlete again? Or
no?
What was the moment after speaking to Steve Lee?
I mean, like I said, it's always been there. I organised the AOC processing day where all the Winter Olympics came into Deloitte and used our offices for the trying on their uniforms and all that. And I tell you what, it sucked being on the other side. And then I went to the Snow Awards that night, and I just miss a lot of those people and the like just the atmosphere around them and just the vibe. I miss that part of my life. It was like all those people were a big part of my life. And even though, some people aren't my cup of tea and I'm not their cup of tea, there's a lot of people in there that really make me laugh and smile and just, it's me. And then after talking to Steve Lee, I went home to the hotel that night and I was like, I really want to try this. Like I've always, and I feel like I can now. I just want to do it. And anyway, I think I lost 2 nights of sleep before I told my husband that this is where my head was going. And I sort of approached him, and he's very sort of jump to conclusions type sort of guy. And I was like, look, I just want to tell you something. I need your help. This is what's going through my head. I'm losing sleep. I need to get it out. Please just take away money and logistics around kids. I just need to run this by you. I just want to strategize it with you to see if I've lost my marbles or if you think this is like doable. And so we ran through that, and that was like, okay, it's doable. I haven't lost my marbles. Then we sort of figured out logistics with kids, and then even 2 days later, he's going, you still haven't gone over this budget. He's, we can't afford this. And I was like, yeah. Shut up.
It'll work out.
But he was the one that said, look, the only way I think you can do this is by turning this into a documentary around perimenopause, longevity, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. And that's what you're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, trying to. Yeah. That's the goal.
Mm-hmm. And that documentary is going to film you right the way across the World Cup circuit as well, is it?
Yeah, so if you think like Drive, Survive, Tour de France, it's generally around the high stakes, the competition, all the behind the scenes of what's going on emotionally, mentally, the game playing, the I guess on Drive, Survive, the talking each other down and up and all that sort of backstabbing going on. Tour de France is a little bit different, but they only lightly touch on the training side of things. So ours might be a bit bigger touch on that because I've got a full-time job. I've got the 2 kids that I'm juggling. Yeah. I'm trying to organise this documentary. I'm trying to organise all the logistics around travelling and competing. I'm trying to do my training. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
So there's a bigger side to, I guess, my pre-season than I guess Drive, Survive and Tour de France. But yeah, we sort of want to have that same sort of, amazing ski resorts and all the drama that's going on behind the scenes on the day. Trying to be mic'd up. I don't know what the rules are, but we hope that I can be mic'd up the whole time for any verbal vomit that comes out during a competition.
Right. Not during a competition. You're not allowed to be mic'd during the actual race, though, are
I
you?
don't know if I can have a
It'd be
mic
interesting
on
to find
me
out,
and
wouldn't
be
it?
recording. I don't know.
God, can you imagine what will come out? That'd be hilarious.
I know.
Particularly if someone's trying to edge you out with their elbows and knock you over.
I don't think I verbally say anything as I'm skiing. It would be more in the finish area if someone's like pissed off at me or I'm pissed off at them, or in the start gates, things like that. Like it would be. There's nothing that I would say on the way down except.
There's not much room except for grunting, is there?
Effects. Yeah, or F.
Yeah, absolutely. You can swear, we don't care. Yeah. So it's interesting, though, isn't it, with this desire to be an athlete again and what you were talking about before, because a lot of athletes, it's quite different being an athlete and being in the team of an athlete if you've been an athlete before. And that transition for many athletes is really difficult from being an elite athlete into just trying to find life and purpose outside of their sport, whereas some people stay in the sport but still struggle with that transition.
Yeah, look, some people come out and find their feet really easy and love it and wish they did it sooner or whatever, and that's great. I think it's probably 50-50. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I haven't had I don't have mental health issues, so it's not like I've struggled through that. I know there was, I can't even remember what it was called, the show, Insight? No. What was it on SBS? They had a show
Insight, it's Insight.
Insight, yeah. Where it was a lot around the mental health stuff, and Jana Pittman was on there, and she was like, for her, it wasn't the mental health, it was that she always felt she could have done more. There was always injuries and things that got in the way, and I was like, yes, I relate way more to that. I feel like I've always had more to give, and things have just gotten in the way. I've never had the perfect day to execute. It just keeps pulling me back. And I mean, even Manuela Berthold was, she was like, she would come back, John O'Brower would come back. Both their knees are so shot that they were taken out from injury. And I feel like I'm very lucky. I've made my choice to finish all 4 times. I've never been taken out by a forced decision around injury or anything like that. I've been quite lucky that it's been my choice.
But you have had injuries that have set you back.
But not career-ending.
Yeah.
Not to say that my body's in peak condition.
I was going to say, how are you feeling? How are you feeling now you've done a few races and you've started training again? How is your body physically feeling? Does it feel the same as it did 14 years ago, or does it feel different?
Yes.
Okay, how?
Well, I always had a bad right knee because I've had 2 knee recos and 4 knee scopes on it. Now, if it's quite an impacty day, it blows up. And I don't know why, but I am getting an MRI on it next week just to find out what's going on so we can manage it. And I have a bulging disc issue, so we're dealing with that too at the moment.
Is that in your lower back? Is that in your back or your neck?
Yeah,
your back.
Lower back. And I've never had a back injury, so this is new to me. Very common injury, especially in older people, the bulging disc, pushing into the sciatic nerve, getting the whole sciatic thing down my leg. So yeah, just injecting things and calming things down, putting a Band-Aid over it until March, basically.
Those cortisone injections, I tell you, I had a knee injury this year, and I've had two operations on the same knee. And I went to see my surgeon, and I couldn't believe he was saying, "Oh, you need surgery," and I was like, "No, I don't. I don't need surgery. What do you want about?" And he's like, "We're going to do an experiment. I'm just going to shoot you up with some cortisone in your knee." And he knew that it wasn't really going to do anything long term. I was still going to need the surgery. And I said, "Oh God, that sounds painful." He goes, "Oh, not for me, it won't be." And then he put the cortisone injection into my knee. And seriously, I couldn't walk the whole rest of the afternoon. But the next day, I felt like Superwoman, and that I could literally run a marathon. And I was like that for a good couple of weeks. I was like, this is a miracle drug. He was like, "No, it hasn't healed. It hasn't fixed your torn ligament. It's still torn to shreds." But, you now have a better brain out of pain, so that you can make it an appropriate decision.
We might do a cortisone in my knee, because the last thing we want is it to be swollen the whole time as well. That's not good for it.
Hideous.
So we might put a cortisone in it if it's going to help settle things down. But I mean, I don't even know what's going on in there. So
did they put something in your knee when you had surgery? Did they put like a staple or any hardware in your knee?
There were screws for the ACLs. One of them's now out because it fell out into my knee joint,
Right.
which was not comfortable.
No.
So I think there's one more screw left in there, but I think they just left that in there. It was so hard for them to get the screw out that was in there in the first place. But
Well, not that I'm an elite athlete, far from it. Although in my dreams, I think I am. But my knee was swollen daily for 4 months after that surgery. It just never, ever went down. And then we realised what I was actually having was the staple that they had used in the bone. I was having reactions. My soft tissue was reacting to it, was scraping against it. And so my knee was twice the size. Almost whenever I tried to load it, it would just go, boom. And then I had that staple out and now it's completely fine. But hey, listen, I'm not diagnosing you. So has Lindsay Vonn, was she part of your inspiration to come back? Because she's 40 and come back and been on
it's
podium.
funny. A lot of people think that, but no, I mean, it's like, what she's doing is awesome, and I had full confidence in that she was going to come back. And it's funny when I hear people were like, oh, I was like a full non-believer, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's Lindsay Vonn. Like, what weren't you believing? Like, that she couldn't come back and be amazing? No, look, I think what Lindsay's doing is great, but no, it didn't motivate me at all. But it does sort of help people believe that you can do it. Because I think if it wasn't for Lindsay, there'd probably be a lot more negative feedback towards what I'm doing.
Well, what do you have to do? You have to get a top 30 in the FIS World Cup to qualify for the Olympics. Is that right?
I need to be ranked in the top 32 on the Olympic qualifying list. So the qualifying period started last season, so I'm already a season behind everyone. So I need to get a couple of good results. I need to get a couple of top tens to really
big final, small final. You need like a small final, a couple of small finals.
Or a big final, a win.
A big final would be great, wouldn't it? And a win? How good would that be?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, way to go. That'd be awesome.
A couple of good top 10 finishes will secure it, for sure.
And how many spots does Australia get in ski across? Like, I know it's up to the NIC. Do we get 4? We get 4 females?
As long as you're in the top 32, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay, great. So Kyra can still get in there.
Yeah. I'm not blocking anybody, which is, I think, if there was a potential where I would block her from getting a qualification, I would feel bad about that too. But I think there would be some pushback towards me doing this. But I haven't had any pushback because I think it's quite a sort of fair. Yeah,
well, I mean, it's an exciting story, number one, particularly for women and particularly for mothers and particularly for women going through perimenopause and particularly for athletes and female athletes. I know I keep saying female, but it is a different journey and a different process for women, 100%.
It shows people that, like, even young athletes now, it shows them that there is options down the track if you decide to go off and have a family and come back.
And absolutely.
I actually think...
I mean, Lydia did it, though.
Yeah,
Lydia Lasseler did it.
Yeah, she only took like a year off to have a kid and then came back. A lot of people.
Well, that's true, actually.
A lot of people are doing that these days to have a kid and coming back. But I actually think it'd be interesting because a lot of males will continue through until like their sort of mid 40s and then retire, and they sort of suck at the end of their career. And everyone sort of thinks it's this age thing. I'm really curious to see someone come back after retiring in their late 30s. In their early 40s, because now they've had a break.
Yes, they've got rid of the
body's
overwhelm.
had a break, they're mentally had a break, they're refreshed, and now come back and see what you can do. Because I sort of feel like you can get overtired, over desperate, and towards the end of your career. And I just think the mind just is a bit at the end. So I'd be really interested to see someone in the males who's retired at 38, 39 and come back at 42, 43.
So Ted Liggety, Bodie Miller. It'd be great to see them come back, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Alpine's a tough sport because alpine is super technical and you need lots of money and you need lots of time on snow. Ski across has its own, it's not that it's not, has its own technicalities to it, but it is an easier sport for women to come back into. I don't know about, males competitions, I feel it's always tough. So if you're a male, it's just tougher anyway because there's just more males competing in sport. I think it's.
But you started as an alpine. You started alpine, so you had that technique to go into ski
I have
across
the alpine
anyway.
background, but I know going back. Look, I feel if I wanted to go back into alpine, I could have, and I still could have qualified on the Australian team in alpine, but I wouldn't have been competitive.
Yeah.
At the top end where I want to be. Where I know in ski across there's a possibility of being competitive at a reasonable level of, top 8.
Well, we seem to be much more competitive as Australians in the freestyle arena anyway than we do in alpine. I mean, obviously we've had a great season, the last season with Maddie Hoffman and Harry Laidlaw both. Oh, and also Louis, doing really well.
Yeah. I think if we had millions and millions of dollars to throw them, we would have a good Australian alpine team too. But we just don't. Yeah. We just don't have the money.
If we had millions and millions of dollars to throw at people, I'd do alpine. So, your kids, how are they feeling about it all?
My daughter knows what the Olympics is because of Paris and school and what was happening at school. But my son, he's 4. He just wants mum. He doesn't give a shit. Fair
enough.
Let me, mum. I want to come. I would love to take him with me, but I found even just being at the snow with them this year up in Thredbo was just nightmare and exhausting and tiring. And I thought, God, if I was trying to train and manage them, it would just be another level of exhausting. And even going to SnowsBest, I thought, maybe we could take them to SnowsBest, but you're up on the glacier. It's not a place for them to ski. There's not much. There is a few things for them to do around town, but what am I going to do with them while I'm up there skiing? Do I bring? It's another expense to bring the husband over. That's another, $6,000 to have him there. I was just like, it's just not going to work. It's not a place for him. So maybe when the competitions start, they can be there.
Well, yeah. How are you going to manage that? Who's looking after your kids when you're traveling? Your husband.
Husband, yeah, he's on the single parenting job.
Right. Well, most of us feel that way anyway. I don't even have children and I feel like a single parent. I'm just trying to look after myself. So what I think that once you get on that FIS World Cup circuit, let's say you surprise yourself as you did in Chile and you get on a podium, I just see people coming towards you with money because all of a sudden they want in on your documentary, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know. That would be amazing, and it would just open so many more doors. It's just getting back and proving them. I have until like the 9th of December is when the first World Cup start. So we're still a ways off to get there, and we probably ran out of money at the end of October with our Switzerland camp. So we're probably about $90,000 short to get me to the games. Had a few meetings with some US companies, and I'm like, that's only $65,000 US.
That's a very good way of putting it. That's a lot of money, isn't it? $90,000.
Yeah. Well, we've had to raise like $200,000 basically. So,
right. So it's a $300,000 process.
We're a little bit over halfway. It's just we need the rest. It's because I've got to pay wages.
Do you have a GoFundMe or a link where people that are listening can throw some dollars your way or not?
Yes, but absolutely. And if they want to use it, amazing. And I can definitely share the link. But I feel like I've put my hand out more times than I can ask. And people are a bit sick of me.
No, they're not sick of you.
It's like, you just need 10 people that have $10,000 or, 20 people that have $5,000. That's all I need.
Well, look, I'll tell you what we'll do.
We'll tax deductible. It's all tax deductible.
It's all tax deductible. We'll put the link in the episode. What do you call it? I can't even think of the word. The episode listing. Yeah, in the episode listing for the podcast, we'll put your link in there. And let's see if anybody actually listens, number one, and also if anybody wants to throw some money your way, because it is really inspiring for very many people to watch somebody like yourself come back out after 14 years or 11 years off the circuit, are we going to say, or 14? 14 since the podium, 12 years since...
It'll be 12 years once I get to the games. So it's been about 11 and a half years since I've competed in ski cross. But, and because of the documentary, obviously we're able to offer, we can showcase, if it's a company, people have something they want to be seen in the documentary, it'll be global. We can sort of try and incorporate it as long as it's sort of aligned with what we're trying to do around women's health and, women's health around high performance sport later in life.
Yep. And we could never do enough for women's health, just quietly. And we can never do enough for women athletes and females in the sport, and keep those young girls inspired to keep skiing and keep snowboarding and not drop out when they're teenagers and not run away because the terrain park's
Or come back if they want to give it a go.
Exactly, come back, give it a go. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been really great chatting to you. Hope to chat to you again before
hopefully
Milano-Cortina.
We've got lots of good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about your training back then, and then let's talk about the podium you just got, and you can show us your medal, and then before the Olympics, and then we'll see you at the Olympics anyway. Thanks so much, Jen. Have you got a website or anything you'd like to us to...
No, just Instagram. I'm on Instagram. That's why I feel like that's as much as I can manage these days.
What's your Instagram handle?
It's Jenny Owens _Ollie, OLY for Olympic.
Nice. All right. Thanks so much for your time. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the SnowsBest.com podcast. If you like what you hear, be sure to review and subscribe via your favourite podcast platform. Like @MissSnowItAll on socials, and hit up the SnowsBest.com website for all your snow travel banter. This episode was produced on the land of the Gundungurra people. We pay our respects to the elders, past and present.